Hi, I'm Annie. I've been thinking about extroverted thinking. So when I was typed in the objective personality system, I found out that I have feminine TE third. I've had a hard time for some reason understanding what TE is, and also especially seeing it in myself. I just haven't really been able to see my own TE. And I think it's because TE is so practical and basic that I just didn't consider that other people weren't aware of it or didn't have it. I just thought it's just one of those things everybody has. It's just so boring that I couldn't even see it. And I think my whole life, what I've been calling common sense is really TE. I think we all have different definitions for common sense probably, but the things that I think of as being common sense or somebody having common sense, I think it's more like TE, and also probably a little bit of respect for SI, because I have masculine SI fourth, and that's a point of friction for me. I get really grumpy when SI is not respected. Over a year ago, I was chatting with a massage therapy client. So I was telling her all about the objective personality system that I was learning. And this was back in the beginning when I was just getting introduced to it and really excited about learning. And then we somehow got on the topic of common sense. And she asked me, what is the function that's responsible for common sense? And I really didn't know, because I was just kind of starting to get a deeper understanding of the cognitive functions, and I wasn't really sure. But I think that what I've been calling common sense for most of my life is actually TE. So I'll give you some examples of what I mean by common sense. So sometimes when you're in the grocery store and there's some dumbass that has their cart parked diagonally across the aisle, that person has no common sense. It's no common sense, but it's also no common courtesy. And the reason is because they're inconveniencing other people and they don't have to. Like, it's so easy to just kind of move your cart parallel to the aisle over to one side. It's just like driving, like in this country, the United States, we drive on the right side of the road. It's the same thing with grocery carts. Like, it's not hard. That is such a common sense thing that I can't believe that other people don't know it, but apparently they don't, or they're just rude. It doesn't make any sense to inconvenience people when you don't have to, or to not be aware of the needs of other people, or not be aware of what would be most efficient for everybody here in this public space. When you're at home alone, especially if you live alone, you can be as inefficient as you want. You can load the dishwasher however you want. But when you're in common spaces, it's like we have these common rules, some of them written, some of them unwritten. Those rules are there to make things the most efficient for the most people. There's a little bit of SI there, SI or the written in black and white laws, like the traffic laws. But you can also use TE in traffic, right? Like just being aware of the needs of the people around you, anticipating the needs of the people around you by noticing their movements and sort of calculating what their intentions are. That person wants to change into the left lane. I can see that because their turn signal's on, so I'm going to modulate my speed to allow them to get in. Being aware of the efficiency of everybody around you and what works for everyone around you also makes things more efficient for yourself when you're in a public situation. Now, when you're at home, you could probably be even more efficient, if that's important to you. You can be really strategic and efficient for yourself. But when you're out in public, it's a little different because what's efficient for you might not be efficient for the other person. So it's this kind of balancing, like being aware of the needs of people around you and balancing that with your own needs for efficiency. And I would say on the whole, when I'm in public, I favor the efficiency of others or the efficiency of all more than I look out for my own efficiency. In my own life, in my own home, I'm really just looking out for my efficiency. Alone in my own studio here. When I'm next door where my partner lives, I'm considering his efficiency and my efficiency. Considering what works for the group. That's what TE is. And to me, that is so boring that I just didn't even think it was noteworthy. But I think that is what TE is. And I think some people aren't aware. I think some people just aren't aware of the needs of other people around them. And I think there are some other people who also just don't care. They're just kind of rude. Another example is when people park on the line in a parking spot. So they're taking up 2 spaces. And maybe they're thinking, oh, it's a Sunday. No one else is going to come to the grocery store right now. now. But the thing is, there's 7 billion people in the world. Like, other people are definitely going to use that parking lot. You know, other people are going to be at the grocery store too. It just doesn't make sense to park incorrectly and use up 2 spaces. It's also completely unavoidable. Like, it isn't hard to park correctly. So I don't understand why anyone would do that. It's against common sense and it's against common courtesy. So I just don't understand why you would do it. Doing the correct thing is almost always more efficient in the long run. Even if it's not immediately efficient in that moment, it's more efficient in the long run. So I don't understand why people wouldn't do it. Another example is this guy in our alley over here. A lot of the people that live in this alley use the alley to access their properties, like me, my partner, just tons of people. And there's this guy who does yard work or sometimes loading and unloading building materials, and he parks his truck diagonally across the alley. He blocks it so that the people can't get past. It clearly annoys people. It's happened over and over again, and it's not necessary. The alley is wide enough that you can park parallel and unload your stuff and also let other people pass. The first few times it happened, I just thought, oh, he's absent-minded, he's not aware, you know, he doesn't have that function that I have that anticipates the needs of other people. But after it's happened so many times, I just think like he's a dick. Like, at this point, he's aware of the issue. He's aware that that's a problem for other people. I don't know, maybe he's just like dug in his heels and he's like, fuck them. I don't know, maybe people get pleasure out of inconveniencing others. It's hard to tell. So I think some people just really aren't aware. They're so in their own mind, maybe in their sleep processing or their TI, you know, just really cerebral, that they miss those external cues and they just aren't as aware. They're not as much of their cognitive function is devoted to what is happening externally, maybe. But then I think other people are just assholes. Another thing that I realized in regards to TE is this idea of love language. I don't know if you've heard of this, probably. It's pretty popular. So there are 5 love languages. This is how you express love and how you like love to be expressed back to you. And so the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, gift giving, quality time, physical affection, and acts of service. And I would say by far the thing that I appreciate the most is acts of service. That makes me feel loved. So quality time is great. Gifts are okay. Not expected, but it's nice. Like, oh my gosh, my partner gave me this Dolly mug for my birthday. I gotta show you. Okay, so my partner gave me this mug for my birthday, and this is the best gift he's ever given me. We've been together for 13 years, and he's given me expensive things. He's given me really sweet things, but this is the best physical thing that he's ever given me because it was so unexpected. I don't need it, but it's really useful, and I love it, and it's colorful, and I just love it. Anyway, gifts. I got pretty excited about that. I'm undermining my own point here, which is that I really get a kick out of acts of service. So it's really cool that he got me something unexpected that I treasure. That hasn't happened as often because more often he does stuff for me like change the oil in my car or help me with a computer problem. And that makes me feel like he really cares about me. And I've also noticed in myself the way that I express love is but with acts of service. It's anticipating the needs of my partner and setting up efficiency for him. So an example is like when I'm doing the dishes and I'm washing the espresso cups, I get his favorite espresso cup ready for him and I put it on the drain grate of the espresso machine so it's ready to go in the morning. I'm not going to bother to put it up away in the cabinet. I put it, at eye level so that it's right there for him in the morning when he's sleepy and he's trying to get his first cup of coffee. So I think about those things strategically. What is going to work for other people and how can I set them up for efficiency? I've also thought about stewardship a lot when I'm out in public, like walking in the park. If I see trash, I pick it up and throw it away. That's stewardship. It's taking care of our common spaces. spaces. It's taking ownership and responsibility of our common spaces. When I used to go to the laundromat, I would really anticipate the needs of others and do my work in the laundromat strategically to accommodate other people. So I'm aware of where they are in their process, which also is a lot of SI. I'm aware of the order of operations that they are following. I'm aware of my strategic planning, my order of operations that I am following, that I'm planning to follow. That's more of an SI thing, but it's also a TE awareness and respect for what will work for the other people around me. And then also a lot of stewardship. Like if I use the sink in the laundromat to do some kind of pre-treatment or something, then I'll clean it and wipe out the sink. And that is not only stewardship for the common space, taking care, taking responsibility of common spaces, but it's also setting up the other people who are going to use the laundromat later on in the day for efficiency. I feel like it's a very TE thing. So anyway, that is what I've been thinking about this week. Let me know if you have anything to add.